I do have a theory that I would like to pose to you.
Go ahead.
Now, we all know about the raw sexual magnetism that is Jacob Rees-Mogg. Perhaps Nigel Farage's just simmering sexual charisma is just leaking out, and that's why people are, lined up to vote for the fella and his party. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Washington to Westminster, the show that says, can I come over there? Actually, you know what? Maybe I just better stay put. I'm your host, Andrea Bridges-Smith, and with me here, fresh off a round of elections from the Interesting Times, it's Matt Johnston. Matt, what's the latest over there?
Well, Andrea, as you know, we did have our elections last week. And if you remember, I said that the one by-election we were having was going to be close. I mean, too close to call, I said. But even I couldn't have predicted how close. 6 votes in the end. 6 votes, which is a record in by-elections, is all that separated the Labour Party, that was the leaving sort of, the incumbent party, if you like, and the winning Reform Party.
I mean, that is unbelievably close. Like, a buffet of iffy prawns could have skewed the whole thing.
Right. If only. Maybe next time. We can always hope, right? Fingers crossed a few of those people get sick. In fact, Reform had a very good night because, and you're going to love this, Andrea, we over here on this side of the Atlantic are a bunch of thick twats.
Hey, come on now. That's our deal. You got to get your own thing, okay?
It was your deal, but the franchise is very much like herpes, is spreading. So there's genuinely no other way to describe it, right? It's having been screwed over by Brexit, which Farage championed, and having seen the catastrophe that's happened on your side of the pond, people over here said, oh, we like the look of that. Can we have some of that, please?
Have they checked out the Amazon reviews? It's 1 out of 5 stars, guys. You gotta scroll down the page.
I mean, there's already open talk of having our very own Doge, what do you call it, Doge committee, group hit squad, include the new mayor of Greater Lincolnshire, Reform's Andrea Jenkins. I mean, think of her as Marjorie Taylor Greene in a summer dress.
Oh, dear God, they really are spreading like a virus, aren't they?
Yeah, she has said that she's going to get rid of all the DEI officers in Lincolnshire Council. Just one problem with that. There are no DEI officers in Lincolnshire Council. Mission accomplished. Presumably she's going to try and rid all, Lincolnshire of all the tigers prowling around the centre.
Well, the problems that don't exist, they're always the easiest ones to solve, right?
Job done. Everyone is talking about this being a seismic shift in politics in this country. I don't know about that, but it's clear Reform are really making inroads. So much so, some are saying that Nigel Farage could be Prime Minister in 2029.
Oh, good grief. So basically, no one has learned anything from the past decade plus?
Nope. I believe it was a great psychiatrist, Dr. Fraser Crane, who said it may be an unwise man who doesn't learn from his own mistakes, but it's an absolute idiot that doesn't learn from other people's. Turn that into Latin, and that right there is the UK's new slogan.
Have to emblazon that on a crest or something.
Right, yeah.
Looks like we are both in a bad spot. But the good news is that there are still some sensible countries out there after Canada's rejection of all things Trumpian. It looks like Australia also told the Conservatives off. And I know that we do have some Oz fans out there. So let us know in the comments how you're feeling about the election.
Yeah, put them in the comments below. Yeah, good point. It's nice to see those countries doing that. It's kind of helping me keep my options open.
Yes, somebody's got to. Well, Matt, over here, we are having a big kerfuffle over, of all things, dolls.
Dolls? Like the inflatable kind? Has Donnie Jr. found a new petite amie? Was it Amy?
Ami,
Ami,
not unless
thank you.
they make sex dolls out of cocaine now. No, so Trump has now admitted that his trade policies are going to cost consumers more. And then he sort of channeled Marie Antoinette, right around the revolution time. And he said
Right,
that...
yeah, let them eat dolls, right?
Yes, exactly. And he said that kids this Christmas, they can maybe have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. And maybe the dolls will cost a little bit more. But kids don't need all these dolls. The problem is that you're buying your kids too many dolls, America.
Oh, who knew? I always thought Dollywood as well was just about Dolly Parton.
Uh, God, I would give anything to have her be the president right now.
Yeah.
Now, naturally, people online started posting pictures of Baron Trump with some of his toys, one of which was a mini Mercedes convertible. But yes, we are the ones drowning our kids in excess. It's not the gold toilet guy. We're the problem.
It was only one mini Mercedes convertible, though, right?
In that particular picture, yes.
Okay.
But there were some very large, like stuffed tigers that are like the size that you could ride as well. So I don't know.
Shot by Marjorie Taylor Greene, I've no doubt.
Probably so. But Matt, the truly hilarious part of all of this is that when asked about how he has basically slammed the economy's dick in a car door, Trump said that the good parts of the economy were from him and the bad parts of the economy were from Biden. Yes, old sleepy Joe Biden does it again. He can barely stay awake, but when he is awake, he's wreaking havoc on the global supply chain just for fun. If only there were someone in charge who could stop him.
Didn't he say he was going to reduce prices on day one?
Yes.
Right.
Still waiting. We're over 100 days in. Still checking our watches, tapping our feet. Just any minute now.
He might have just turned around and said, I'm going to reduce prices on day 1,000 or something like that.
Exactly. And then on day 1,000, he's like, I didn't say which thousand.
Yeah. So anyway, after all that, how about some good news? Sort of good news.
Sure.
It was the 80th celebration of VE, Victory in Europe Day on Monday, when people from our respective nations stood up and fought against and won, oops, spoilers, against the Nazis.
Matt, don't tell me. I haven't even finished World War I yet. But things are really starting to not look good for this Archduke.
You've got to catch up, Andrea. They're just about to start World War III. You want to catch up on World War II before you hit that.
So much on Netflix to keep up with. I'm really behind.
That'll be the trilogy then.
Yes, there we go.
I watched some of the celebrations we had here in the UK. There was a fly past and the King and Queen were there, and lots, as you can imagine, of Union Jacks absolutely everywhere.
So this is funny. A fly past that I thought we were the only ones who wasted our taxpayer dollars on those. Over here, they're actually called a flyover.
That kind of makes sense. They both kind of make sense. They're both flying when they both goes past, and of course they go over. They're not going to go under, are they? That's called a plane crash. Yeah.
Yeah, so fly under, I think that's in the southern hemisphere. It's different.
So some of those stories were, well, just incredible from those people that lived through it, as you can imagine. People talked about lying about their age so they could have to say, I don't think we're going to see another generation like that for a while, sadly.
Yeah, these days you're probably more likely to lie about your age to get out of serving. Like, hey, I know I look like an 18-year-old young man, sir, but really I'm 84 years old. It's kind of a Benjamin Button type thing. And don't get me started on the bone spurs.
Oh, yes, that's what, that's what he was down to. He was telling everybody, oh, it's the bone spurs. I've never heard. Do you know what bone spurs are?
I think it's just like little pieces of your bone that sort of break off and float around in there, and supposedly it's painful. So,
well, fair enough then. Okay. Yeah. So I can't imagine it was celebrated too much in the States VE Day. I could be wrong, but obviously you guys were involved. We're very grateful for that. But it was by and large a European war, certainly for most of the fighting.
Yeah, we pretty much celebrated it like you guys celebrated St. George's Day. We just missed it entirely.
Right, fair enough. I do see, though, that Trump has said that America should have its own celebrations. Is that right?
Yes, so he's come out and he has announced 2 new holidays. One of them is around this. But most importantly, he said, I'll break out the impression here, we will not be closing the country for these 2 very important holidays because we already have too many holidays in America. There are not enough days left in the year. We were workers then and we're workers now. And then presumably he logged off to go play a round of golf.
Do you close the country when you have other holidays?
We have bank holidays, like I think you have in the UK, where the banks at least close down.
Oh, okay.
Some of the, actually, a lot of the bank holidays, everything else doesn't close down. Like I think there's a bank holiday for like Earth Day or something like that, and nobody's getting off work for that, especially now. But yeah, it's, the idea that like we're going to have a holiday, but absolutely nothing is going to change. Like, okay, well,
Good to see. Thanks.
yeah, I mean, the good news about all this, though, is that Trump is continuing to focus on the things that matter most to Americans, because everybody thinks that we're all caught up on our doll quotas. But what we care about is the names of bodies of water and having more holidays where we can't get time off of work. And in that respect, the president is delivering bigly.
Bigly ballsy, right?
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful stuff. I mean, I made the mistake of watching a bit of TV the other day when they're having a discussion about how well Reform were doing, and everybody's just jumping up and down about how well Reform did at the local elections, which they did. It's a sort of small part. It might be it might sort of not tell the full story,
Yeah.
but they did do well. I mean, to be fair, but I'm sitting there going, I don't know how he's still convincing people that, you know what I mean? I guess because he's had no sort of formal, he's not been in charge of anything, so there's not really anything to blame him for. I guess it's the only thing I can think. But I was watching this TV thing, and they're having a phone in to say, could Nigel Farage be our next Prime Minister? And the first person phoned in, and she went, I think having Nigel Farage as our Prime Minister will be the best thing that's ever happened to this country. And I thought, I'm not going to like this phone call. I'm really not going to like this phone call. But I'm going to stick around. I said to myself, I'll be open to what people are saying and stuff. And maybe she's seen something that I, in my little echo chamber, in my little lefty wokey, Remainer echo chamber, haven't seen. So she went on to say, she said, we need the NHS sorting out. And I thought, okay, he's already taught a couple of times about privatising, moving over to a health insurance-based system.
Yeah.
And she says we need education sort of sorting. I thought maybe she has seen. I've not really heard him talking about education and stuff. We need, the police sorting, all this sort of thing, and we need to get on top of the immigrants as well coming in. And I thought, are these the same immigrants which are virtually sort of a quarter of our doctors and nurses and stuff? Are these the same people? And I'm sitting there thinking, actually, you know what? Yeah, you're an idiot. You haven't thought about this. I thought you had. I thought there was a genuine plan there in which we're going to put Nigel Farage in number 10. And then, I'll be like, oh, Ramona Tears. Oh, because actually it's worked out really well. You didn't spot that, Matt. But, this guy who's backed Donald Trump is saying the same sort of things as Donald Trump. And everybody can now see how badly it's gone for America.
Yep.
And people are now sitting there going, maybe we should do the same. I can't get past this.
It doesn't make much sense to me, but I do have a theory that I would like to pose to you.
Go ahead.
Now, we all know about the raw sexual magnetism that is Jacob Rees-Mogg. Perhaps Nigel Farage's just simmering sexual charisma is just leaking out, and that's why people are lined up to vote for the fella and his party. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's what it is. He actually did a reality show called, I don't know if you've heard of the reality show called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay.
Nigel Farage did that show?
Yeah, he did that show.
Oh my God.
And they kind of, the newspapers, and like this stuff should come with a warning because he's there under the shower, like naked from the back.
Oh no.
And I'm sitting there thinking, if this doesn't ruin your political chances, because it must have done, if Donald Trump had done that, there is no way he would have been elected, surely.
I don't know. I mean, we've got pictures of him where he appears to be wearing some kind of diaper, and people are still like, yeah, it sounds great. Let's do it. No accounting for taste these days.
Wow. I tell you what, we're leaving people there with that mental image. If you have any bleach handy, everybody, straight to the eyes. No, don't put it in your eyes, please. Don't put it in your eyes. But yeah, sorry about that. We're giving you a mental image, obviously, you didn't want. But I think I was going to say before we go too far, I think that line has already been crossed. But before we go too much further, shall we say, thank you all so much for joining us today. Now, for more on our respective channels, you can see more of Andrea's take on American politics at the Phoenix News Network, and more of the UK side on my channel at theinterestingtimes.co.uk. And we'll see you all soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.